In trading, what's the one thing you can truly control? Here's a hint. It's not the market, and it's definitely not the outcome of any single trade. It's your process. And you know what? Shifting your focus to that process can completely change the game. Let's break down exactly how.
So let's just start with a quick question for you. Does your mood swing with every single tick of the market? You know, the absolute high of a win followed by that sinking feeling of a loss? If that sounds at all familiar, you're probably trapped in an outcome-focused mindset. It is an emotional roller coaster, and honestly, it's exhausting.
Okay, let's dive into this a little deeper. On one side, you've got that emotional roller coaster we just talked about, totally fixated on wins and losses. But on the other side, you have the path to stability, focusing on executing a solid plan with discipline. And this isn't just some small tweak, it is a completely different way of seeing the market. You're moving from chaos to calm, rational decision-making.
And this brings us right to the core idea of this whole explainer, making a fundamental mindset shift. So let's formally introduce what we call the process-oriented approach.
So, what does this actually mean? Well, the crucial point is this. It's a mindset where you just stop obsessing over whether a trade was a winner or a loser. Instead, you obsess over something you can control. Did you follow your rules? Did you execute your plan with consistency and discipline? That becomes the new definition of a successful trade.
And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the core belief behind it all. It's about having faith that by doing the right things over and over and over again, the results, they'll take care of themselves. You're building a solid foundation for long-term success, not just chasing a lucky break.
All right, so you might be thinking, okay, this sounds nice and all, but what's really in it for me? Well, this mindset shift isn't just some feel-good exercise. It builds into real, tangible advantages. Let's unpack the concrete benefits.
Now, what's so cool about this is how these benefits all create this powerful, positive feedback loop. First, by focusing on your plan, you automatically reduce those knee-jerk emotional reactions. You're no longer riding the market's waves. This new clarity then lets you develop real skill over just pure luck because you're making conscious decisions, not gambling. And that, in turn, helps you learn from every single trade, win or lose, because you have a clear baseline to review against. All of this combines to build long-term consistency, which is really the holy grail of trading. And finally, it helps you avoid the twin dangers of overconfidence after a big win and despair after a loss, keeping you grounded and focused on what actually matters: execution.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. How do you actually do this? This next part is all about putting this new mindset into practice by setting the right kinds of goals.
This table makes the difference crystal clear. An outcome goal, something like make $1,000 this month, is largely out of your control. I mean, the market's going to do what it does. But a process goal, that's 100% within your control. Take Journal My Trades Daily. This doesn't just mean writing down the profit or loss, it means recording why you got into the trade, what your emotional state was at the time, and how well you actually followed your entry and exit rules. See? You're shifting your focus from a result you can't guarantee to an action you can always perform perfectly.
Now, I'm not going to lie, making this shift is not easy. There are going to be challenges that try to pull you right back into that old, outcome-focused way of thinking. So let's talk about navigating those hurdles.
And the biggest challenge, without a doubt, is dealing with losses. It's natural to feel discouraged, but in a process-oriented mindset, a loss isn't the end of the story. In fact, it's the beginning of a much more interesting one.
And this right here, this is the mental reframe that changes everything. A loss is no longer some personal failure, it's just a data point. It's an opportunity to go back to your journal and analyze your process. Did you follow your rules to the letter? If you did, great. The trade was a success based on your process, even if it lost money. The market was just being the market. But if you deviated, well, now you have a specific, concrete action to improve on for next time. It transforms a totally negative event into a constructive one.
And of course, there are other hurdles. That desire for instant gratification will always be knocking at the door, along with external pressures from financial needs or seeing other people succeed on social media. The key is to constantly remind yourself that your process is your shield against all these short-term distractions.
As we wrap up, just let this quote sink in for a minute. This is the ultimate truth of the market. It's not about finding that one perfect lottery ticket trade. It's about executing a solid plan with unwavering discipline, day in and day out. That's what leads to sustainable success.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought to reflect on. Take a good, honest look at your own strategy, your own rules, your own mindset. And don't ask if it's going to make you rich tomorrow. Ask yourself this: is your process built to last?